procession is led by Chief Faculty Marshal, Dr. Kaushal Nanavati. Student Marshals Adhem Alifarag and Hannah Charland are followed by flag bearer Ian Kratzky. The faculty is led by Faculty Marshals Dr. Amit Damoon, Dr. Lazarus Gehrig, Dr. Martha Watowitz, and Dr. Cynthia Morrow. Following the marshals are distinguished teaching professors Dr. Ann Botash and Dr. Patricia Kane. The faculty is led by Faculty Marshals Dr. Amit Damoon, Dr. Lazarus Gehring, Dr. Martha Wojtowicz, and Dr. Cynthia Morrow. Following the Marshals are distinguished teaching professors Dr. Ann Botash and Dr. Patricia Kane. The academic officers will follow. The academic officers and honored guests include Dr. John Folk, Assistant Dean for Clinical Science, Dr. Margaret Maimoni, award recipient, Dr. Captain Aaron P. Venturelli, United States Army, Dr. Thomas Svoboda, Associate Dean of Academic Affairs, Binghamton Campus, Dr. Brian Thompson, Assistant Dean of Diversity, College of Medicine, Dr. Barry Knox, award recipient, Dr. Ramesh Sachdeva, Senior Vice President for Strategic Affairs, Mr. Sergio Garcia, Vice President of Operations and University Chief of Staff, Dr. Jay Brenner, Chair, Faculty Council, Dr. Sri Narsapur, award recipient, Dr. Mantosh Devan, Interim Dean, College of Medicine, Dr. Rajesh Dave, Dean, Binghamton Campus, Dr. Mark Schmidt, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, Dr. Julie Rawls-White, Dean of Student Affairs, Dr. Paul Coe, Associate Dean for Undergraduate Medical Education, Dr. Thomas Poole, Assistant Dean for Foundational Science, Dr. Christopher Morley, Interim Chair, Department of Public Health and Preventive Medicine, Dr. David Amberg, Vice President for Research, Dr. Michael Barrett, Honorary Degree Recipient, Mr. Thomas Taylor, Chair of the Upstate Council, Mr. Eric Smith, Vice President for Administration and Finance, Ms. Amanda Ghani, Student Speaker, Mr. Ramzi El Hassan, Student Speaker, Dr. Richard Cantor, President of the Medical Alumni Association, and Dr. Danielle Larac Arena, President, Upstate Medical University. Dr. James Greenwald will now sing the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Every year he does this to me. I get chills when he sings the national anthem. Thank you, Dr. Greenwald. It is my pleasure and privilege to introduce Dr. Mantosh Dewan, Interim Dean of the College of Medicine.
Good afternoon. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this celebration of the 190th graduating class of this medical college. Just 4 years ago, yes, it is an amazing achievement, yes. I like the audience already. Just 4 years ago, we thought you were a remarkable group of young women and men who were exceptionally bright and impressively credentialed. But what we truly cherished was your inherent goodness, hope for the future, and wanting to make a difference. Now you have not only fulfilled requirements to be here today, but also our fervent wish to produce superb doctors who are also wonderful human beings. Let's recognize the class of 2017 with a rousing round of applause. Whoa. To the families and loved ones, a very special welcome and thank you for the love and support you have showered on our students and on our school. Thank you. To our faculty and staff, many of whom are hiding behind these curtains here, who are always there for our students, thank you for everything you do and do so very well. Thank you. And a special welcome to our honorary degree recipient and the world's most accomplished physician astronaut, Dr. Michael Barrett. We look forward to being inspired by you. Our school, founded in 1834, has an expectedly rich and storied tradition. I'd like to introduce you to just three of our ancestors. Elizabeth Blackwell graduated in 1849 as the first woman physician in the United States. That's well known. Dr. Blackwell was admitted after being turned down by 9 other schools and fittingly graduated at the top of her class. She reminds our graduates to believe in yourself, to persevere, to go blaze your own path. Equally important is an unsung hero without whom there would be no Dr. Blackwell. Dr. Austin Flint was a lecturer and the only faculty member who supported Elizabeth Blackwell as a student. This clearly took courage, since the then dean, Dr. Lee, publicly stated that, quote, "I would rather be both unwise and unjust than create further inconveniences for men. Times have changed, thankfully. You will be challenged every day, and we know that our graduates will be more Flint than Lee, more courageous on behalf of yourselves and the profession, and always, always on behalf of our patients. When in doubt regarding what is best for your patients, follow these simple steps. Close your eyes and see the face of a loved one. Now open your eyes and transport that face onto the face of your patient. You will now know for sure what the right thing is to do. And I hope that you will have the Flintian courage to then do it. We have built on our traditions, and today, a remarkable group of 72 women and 82 not at all inconvenienced men will get their MD degrees, and 15 women and 4 men will receive their Masters in Public Health. 12 outstanding black women will become a physician today, a tad short of 14. Whilst this delights us, I look forward to the day when we will not separate them out and their graduation will be as routine as everyone else's. I also look forward to hearing from Dr. Barrett, who dreamt of, worked at, then sailed through the heavens above. We wish the same for all of you. Your dreams and hard work have carried you to this commencement. It is time to dream even bigger dreams. In the words of the poet Robert Browning, may your reach exceed your grasp, or else what's a heaven for? So as you carry the best of our traditions and soar towards your personal heaven, know that you are our ambassador to the world, that we are proud of you, we love you, and we wish you every success. The class of 2017, congratulations.
It gives me great pleasure and honor to introduce Dr. Danielle LaRoccarina, President of the State University of New York, Upstate Medical University.
I think it's afternoon, so good afternoon, everyone. It's been a really remarkable day for me, and I think for many of us who have gathered together to really celebrate the accomplishments of some incredible individuals. So, good afternoon to the students, to parents, to families, to friends, staff, and faculty. I want to thank you for joining us for the 2017 commencement ceremonies of the State University of New York, Upstate Medical University. And certainly I want to thank Dr. Dewan because he had my thoughts go to many other things which I might ad-lib here. So I had the pleasure today of speaking to 4 separate but related colleges. I started the day with the College of Health Professions, then went on to the College of Nursing, then the College of Graduate Studies, and now the College of Medicine. So welcome, graduates. My message to each of you in the colleges, however, has been the same, and I struggled through this because certainly I didn't want to hear myself talk 4 times, but I must admit that I started with a grounding of the principles that I wanted to share with you today, and then of course diverged to each of the disciplines so that it's relevant to each of the disciplines. But I hope we come back, and I know you saw the video that started, which is the concept of one university. And it's relevant because it is one health science university. This is my 2nd commencement, as slightly more than 1 year ago, I embarked in this journey as your president. During the ensuing months, much has happened. I need not remind many of us, but certainly locally in our regular lives, day-to-day lives, regionally, in our state, nationally, and globally. You, our students, have been immersed in your journey to complete the stated goals of becoming health professionals, as you should have been, and today commence on a lifelong path of professionalism and leadership. In the next phase of your lives, as in the one you have just traversed, context matters, and I share these same sentiments with your colleagues who graduated earlier. And I will explain. First, as I contemplated what to share in my message to you, I landed in what has preoccupied me for the past year, the role of universities, and that role has never been as important as it is today. Our university and the training we provide to you, the leaders of today and the leaders of tomorrow, matters. My State of the University given on March 15 reflected on the status of academic health science centers, whether they are doomed to fall as did the Roman Empire, or to transform and adapt to the multiple healthcare delivery system, training, and research needs of the 21st century. Specifically, I reflected with the university in March on the complex task of academic health centers to not only train physicians, nurses, other healthcare professionals, educators, clinicians, and researchers, but as I mentioned earlier, to also link them very directly and faithfully to the settings in which they will work. We discussed the explicit need to be servant to the mission of improving lives and never losing focus on that mission, and to do this united in expertise that is rendered with compassion, hence providing hope even where we don't have the answers. While my State of the University reflected on the obvious questions, how do we accomplish this important task? How do we develop health professionals who can deliver on that promise? What must we specifically do as a university? And does the world around us matter in the path we choose? My task for today is to underscore the underpinnings of your specific training and development as humanistic health professionals. A few more observations before I share with you some conclusions and thoughts. It is not news to most of you. We are in an era where the pace of change is dizzying. Is it north? Is it south, west, or east? We have to decide. And it is deeply affected by fluctuating economies, globalization, emerging technologies, research, professional, and educational mandates, compelling us to some incredible partnerships and alliances. And I'm reminded of this because our university also happens to be the largest employer in central New York. So it is infinitely tied to our economic vitality, which is interesting because of the role of linking academia and industry is paramount these days. So I reviewed most recently some comments by the educators Leaf and Yamanaro from the May article in Academic Medicine. I thought that their analysis of the current and new academic leadership paradigms were worthy of mention to you today, and I'll review them. The first is entitled Designer, Hierarchical, Heroic, Military, and perhaps Transformational Approaches, and contrast that to what they defined as authentic, self-shared, and network leadership. While we don't have the luxury of discussing this in detail today, I'll give you some of the highlights. It is argued that the former, that is, the designer, hierarchical, military, the one that we are really accustomed to, exists in fairly, perhaps stable, perhaps predictable environments with relatively straightforward or repetitive work with the task to deliver specific desired outcomes. Reflected in our leadership today in academia, it would be the roles of deans, chairs, CEOs, with clear structure and processes designed to divide, coordinate responsibilities, and provide accountability. And that's what we functioned. That's how we have functioned. The latter paradigm, however, the authors argue, of a more shared and networked leadership organization is likely to function best in response to big, complex, and novel problems. Any reminders for the 21st century? I think so. That requires solutions that can be achieved with very different structure of distributive, shared, and collective leadership to create a culture that embraces differences of perspectives and modalities and a shared sense of ownership and collaboration. And you have heard the term, right? Team-based care, team-based science, and collaboration. So my musings over these paradigms leads me to conclude that while not absolute, perhaps in the complex environment that we encounter in healthcare, this paradigm may be most relevant. And you'll have to test it out for yourselves and figure out if what I'm saying is in fact what resonates with you. So let me go on. Let's return to context. Why does this matter? And what does it have to do with your graduation today, where I could be talking about much more pleasant things? As an observation, I think I can see, the audience and the participants in this commencement are intergenerational. I hope my comments are true. I can only reflect from here. And perhaps we span collectively even 100 years. So let me explain my musings further, and let me reflect on periods of history that are illustrative of where my thoughts migrated to as I contemplated your preparation as physicians and the professionalism and leadership's role you have and will assume. Let me start with World War II. While most of us have not lived through the 1930s during the rise of fascism, the lessons of that period still resonate and deeply affect our assumptions and assertions of the role of physicians and other clinicians. The Nuremberg Code, following the events of World War II, left us with the principles that now help lead the ethical practice of medicine. The repudiation of the events of the war led to the declaration that physician researchers should always, quote, recruit competent research subjects who understand the nature of research and voluntarily consented to participate. However, the landmark article may be known to some of you by Beecher in New England Journal in 1966, 2 decades after the war had finished, recounted that despite the evolution of these fundamental principles of ethical and humanistic practice, science was not living up to those principles. Beecher detailed in his article entitled Ethics in Clinical Research 22 examples of abuses in clinical research violating the principles of informed consent and the responsibility of researchers and clinicians to be intelligent, informed, conscientious, and compassionate. The violations were blatant, yet published in peer-reviewed journals, calling into serious question the willingness of the scientific community to monitor itself for ethical behavior. A few examples of the 22 cases published by Beecher are illustrative of the disregard with which study participants and patients were enrolled. Briefly, example 16, studies at a state school, Willowbrook, for disabled children where children were infected with hepatitis in the name of scientific inquiry. Example 18, where melanoma was transplanted from a terminally ill young woman to her mother on the premise that this might help her and gain information on cancer immunity. The young woman died the day after the procedure, and the mother died a little more than a year later, conclusively as a result of the transplant. While I think we have evolved from those times, it continues. While reported separately, the now famous CDC study of the Tuskegee Airmen, those who enrolled in the syphilis study and left untreated for decades even after the discovery of penicillin, transmitting to their children and wives this disease, produced outrage and resulted in the National Research Act of 1974 and eventually the 1979 Belmont Report that guided systems changes in support of ethical research. All of you graduates today have been instructed in these concepts. I am not telling you something you do not know. And the ethical conduct of research. Understanding and retaining the essence of the roots of those principles is essential in your journey as you progress in your careers. The reason I raised the Beecher article I'll go on in a second, is that while not new and reflected by scientists such as William Osler in 1907 in his article, The Evolution of the Idea of Experiment in Medicine, where he argued that experimentation should not be done unless there was a likely direct benefit to the patient and there was full consent, or otherwise, quote, the sacred cord that binds physician and patient snaps instantly. In 2016, the year of your academic year of your graduation, was why I chose Beecher's 1966 article, because in fact we celebrated and the New England Journal published a subsequent article on the 50th anniversary of the publication of Beecher's article. And this was published by Jones, Grady, and Lederer. And while much has happened, and I hope we have learned certainly some important things in the last 50 years, in a response to the urgency to guide the ethical practice of research that is certainly deemed essential to improve lives, the authors conclude, quote, many interests, medical, personal, political, military, and commercial, have led researchers in the past to conduct studies that they knew to be transgressive. It would be hubris to think that such lapses could not happen again. A corollary, though, which is a hopeful one of this comment that applies to current times, is that adherence to sound scientific method coupled with ethics is a powerful tool to do good. So continuing with that theme of context, much has changed in the past decades. For many of us baby boomers, the civil rights and human rights milestones of the 20th century, the Voting Rights Act, the feminist movement, among other advances, have led us to a more open and inclusive society and full incorporation within the training world of medicine of a more pluralistic healthcare workforce. I think Dr. Dewan alluded to that just a moment ago. And much more reflective of the populations we serve. You who are here at this commencement today are reflective of that diversity. This continued strive for diversity in the health sciences is supportive of our quest for excellence, the raising of key research questions grounded in an ethical framework based on different perspectives and hypotheses that lead to better research, better processes of education and clinical care, and of course, what we all seek, better health outcomes. And yet, in the 21st century, in the year 2017, the provocative and impassioned pleas for objectivity and the power of facts led this university, among many others, to join in the March for Science on April 24th, and I shared this also with the graduate study students. A march which articulated our deepest beliefs as echoed by the astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, that the good thing about science is that it is true whether you believe in it or not. Just as the repudiation of Galileo's assertion that the world was round did not change the fact that indeed it was and remains round. It would appear our continued vigilance is required to not repeat the mistakes of the past, but to support science that helps pave the way for a more inclusive and ethical society. Additionally, we are in heated debates if and how we provide for universal health coverage and access to all of our populations to the best education, the best research, and the best care. Do we in this civil society provide those most fundamental services to all, regardless of their circumstances? What is the responsibility of our public and private health science universities to share in the value of education and science, to be welcoming to all, and in so doing provide trainees the opportunities to go forth and support all of our communities, our regions, our nation, and the world? Can we operate the business of healthcare without losing sight of our larger purpose? The underlying theme of my treatise to you today is that of conscience, and the purpose of illustrating that to you, our graduates, will be operating in a complex world where fundamental values and ethics will require of you, whether you choose to or not, to take a stand. I urge you to use your intellect, your training, your expertise, your compassion, and your ethical stance as physicians, health professionals, and scientists to uphold the oath to do no harm and to do good. I urge you to make the tough choices, to immerse yourself in those difficult and uncomfortable conversations. And I like Dean White's comment. He says she calls them campus conversations, which are so essential as in your roles as individuals, members of a community, and health professionals. I invite you to embrace a shared and collaborative leadership paradigm that engages diverse colleagues, invites thoughtful disagreement and critical thinking, and it's by its very nature inclusive and of the highest caliber. I am hopeful that your training here at Upstate Medical University has prepared you well to embrace all the challenges you will encounter and guide your path forward. Thank you all, and congratulations. I'm truly proud of all of you and your accomplishments.
Degrees from the College of Medicine will now be conferred by President Laroque Arena. Dr. Montosh Divan, Interim Dean of the College of Medicine, and Dr. Christopher Morley, Interim Chair, Department of Public Health and Preventive Medicine, will present recipients from the Central New York MPH program.
Dr. Laroque Arena, Dr. Morley and I have the honor to present these recipients of the degree Master of Public Health. They have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty for the receipt of this degree.
Will all candidates for the Master of Public Health degree in the College of Medicine please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, upon completion of all requirements, I confer upon you the degree Master of Public Health with all its rights, privileges, and obligations. Please come forward to be recognized.
Shaylin M. Kavanaugh, MPH program. Jeremy Rain, French lawyer, MPH program. Amanda A. Ghani, MPH program. Alana D. Haggerty, MPH program. Kirsten L. Lyons, MPH program. Tia C. Marks, MPH program. Jean Fidel Munizero, MPH program. Melissa Ann Naperkowski, MPH program. Allison Christine Phillips, MPH program. Desiree Pizarro, MPH program. Kia Lorraine Stroughton, MPH program. Thanks. Melissa Vital, MPH program. Catherine M. Wood, MPH program. Nadia M. Yosef, MPH program. Thank you. Tomas E. Vence, MPH program.
Dr. Lara Karina, Dr. Molly and I have the honor to present these graduates who participated in Upstate's MD MPH program, which over a 5-year period allows students to complete the requirements of both the Doctor of Medicine degree and the Master of Public Health. These students have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty for the receipt of these degrees.
Will the candidates receiving both degrees, Doctor of Medicine and Master of Public Health, please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, upon completion of all requirements, I confer upon you the degrees Doctor of Medicine and Master of Public Health with all the rights, privileges, and obligations. Please come forward to be recognized.
Dr. Caleb Madden Constantine, MD, MPH. So nice. Mom could be here. Should be here. Oh, no. I guess that's June 1st. Dr. Aaron J. Ayupa, MD, MPH, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Elizabeth Way McIntosh, MD, MPH, Rural Medical Education Program, Gold Humanism Honor Society, Family Medicine Faculty Scholarship Award, and Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award. Dr. Timothy Michael Smilnak, MD, MPH, Rural Medical Education Program, Harry Feldman, MD, Preventive Medicine Award. Dr. Mantosh Divan, Interim Dean of the College of Medicine, will now present the recipients of the degree Doctor of Medicine. He will be joined by Dr. Rajesh Dave, Dean of the Binghamton campus.
President Larak Arena, I have the honor to present these recipients of the degree Doctor of Medicine. They have satisfied the requirements established by the faculty and have been recommended by the faculty for the receipt of this degree.
Will all candidates for the Doctor of Medicine degree in the College of Medicine please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, upon completion of all requirements, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Medicine with all with all its rights, privileges, and obligations. Please come forward to be recognized.
Thank you. Dr. Oluwafasayo Olutunwase Adekayo. Thanks. Dr. Erin Patricia Almer. Thank you. Dr. Jeffrey Simeon Amos, Rural Medical Education Program Student Research Day Award. Dr. Vishal Anagu. Thank you. Dr. Kiran Kumar Aravapalli, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Ian B. Bailey. Dr. Rosemary F. Barker. Dr. Joshua Beckler, Stuart I. Gurman, MD Award. Dr. Bishan Singh Bedi, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Eric Christopher Bellinger, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, Alpha Omega Alpha Gamma Chapter Robert Ike Award, David G. Murray, MD Orthopedic Surgery Award. Dr. Alexandra Michelle Blackman, Gold Humanism Society. Congrats. Dr. John V. Boyle, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, Alpha Omega Alpha Gamma Chapter Robert Ike Award, David Turner Award, Robert V.P. Hutter, MD 54, and Ruth Hutter Scholarship, Medical Alumni Association Achievement Award, and Merck Manual Award. Dr. Tara Faye Brenner, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society, Amwak Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, Alpha Omega Alpha Gamma Chapter Robert Ike Award, Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award, Robert E. L. Nesmith Jr. MD Student Award. Dr. Erin Diana Bright, American College of Emergency Physicians Medical Student Professionalism and Service Award. Dr. Melissa Amon Buchan, Gold Humanism Society.
Thank you.
Dr. Bilal Bashir Butt, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society. That's so cute. Dr. Megan Rose Calabrese. Dr. Brett J. Campbell. Dr. Michael James Canfield, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Manella Tess Capilli. Dr. Jessica A. Carroll. Thank you. Dr. Dayun Cha.
Thank you for everything.
Dr. Raju R. Shalluri. Dr. Kimberly Cheng, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Samira Chowdhury. Dr. Emily Ann Comesso, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, AMWA Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, Herbert Lurie MD Award, Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award, the Endocrine Society Medical Student Achievement Award. Dr. Joseph Allen Damari, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Mr. and Mrs. William J. Gordon Medical Student Award. Thank you. Dr. Brittany R. DePasquale, Pathology Department Award. Dr. Nadia M. Dillon. Dr. Alexander G. Dragnich, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, William J. Williams, MD Award in Internal Medicine. Dr. Jillian Egan, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, AMWA Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, Alpha Omega Alpha Gamma Chapter Robert Ike Award, and Merck Manual Award. Dr. Ramsey A. El Hassan, Binghamton Campus Ronald Krzyzanowski Award. Thank you. Dr. Jason Yahil Elyagov. Thank you. Good luck. Dr. Michael C. Enichuku. Thank you. Dr. Masoud Faridnia. Dr. Christine Michelle Falkenham, Rural Medical Education Program, Dr. and Mrs. Earl J. Kelsey Memorial Endowment Award. Dr. Michael Anthony Fiacco. Dr. Abigail I. Franco, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society, Amwa Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement. Dr. Caitlin A. Gardner, Mark H. Hollander, MD, Psychiatry Award. Thank you. Dr. Jeffrey A. Geisendorfer. Thank you. Very nice. Dr. Jaskirat Kaur Gill. Thanks. We're missing a picture of Marcus. I'll try. Dr. Tyler J. Gilmore. Thanks. Dr. Allison Faye Goldberg. Dr. Sriharsa Gautam. Dr. Ashley Noel Green, hooded by her mother, Dr. Denise Green. Thank you. Dr. Mackenzie Lauren Hall, Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award. Dr. Onisia A. Hannibal. Dr. Candace Y. Hatton. Congratulations. Can't believe you graduated. Dr. Kathleen Louise Howe, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society. Dr. Cynthia H. Jackson, Rural Medical Education Program, Mark H. Hollander, MD, Psychiatry Award. Dr. Kayla Savan Jagoda. Dr. Nathan Merritt Jones, Rural Medical Education Program. Dr. Donald Allen Joyce. Dr. Morris Drata. Dr. Joseph Christopher Callett, Excellence in Anatomical Sciences Award. Dr. James Kalmuck, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Mary Kate Rhiannon Kalachka. Dr. Heerak Kang. Dr. Melanie R. Katz, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Binghamton Campus Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology Award. Dr. Michael Paul Keenan, Excellence in Emergency Medicine Award. Dr. Emily Lauren Kellogg, Rural Medical Education Program, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Van Lyric Kenyon. Dr. Moisey Kanimoff. Thank you. Dr. Michael Kleck. Dr. Ian Matthew Kratzky, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society, Bruce Farrell MD Award. Dr. Whitney Sprague Kukul, Binghamton Campus Department of Neuroscience Award. Dr. Victoria Weiwen Kung. Thank you. Oh, how cute. Oh my gosh. So cute. Oh my gosh. Oh, baby is so tiny. Wow. Dr. Patrick M. Kupiec, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Thank you. Dr. Caitlin Chi, Gold Humanism Society, and the Bruce Deering Writing Award. Dr. Kimberly A. Laxton, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Josephine S. Lee. Dr. Patrick Lee. Dr. Tim Lentini. Dr. Catherine Lyons, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society, AMWA Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award, Patrick T. Matthews 2003 Memorial Award. Dr. Annette Karen Fung Miao Lim, Gold Humanism Society. Thank you. Good luck to you. Dr. Wei Xing Lu, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society Student Research Day Award. Dr. Sarah Jane Lopez, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Samantha Lucretia, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society. Dr. Matthew Douglas McDougall. Dr. Elizabeth Ann McGowan.
Carlos A. Mencia Jr. Hey, thank you very much for
Pleasure.
you guys how you team.
Dr. Carlos A. Mencia Jr. Thank you. Dr. Richard Allen Mandanis. Thank you. Dr. Alicia Marie Marhefka, Gold Humanism Society, Binghamton Campus Department of Psychiatry Award. Thank you. Let's get it going. Dr. Rosemarie Mastropolo, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award. Dr. Margot M. McCann, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Lauren Margaret McDonough, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Charles E. Mitchow. Dr. Akil Nabijan. Dr. Caitlin A. Nicholson, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, AMWA Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, and Ernest Carhart, MD, Paul Palmer, MD Award. Dr. Maxwell R. Norris. Dr. Tamara I. Nasuli, Student Research Day Award. Dr. Michael Wade O'Brien. Thank you. Dr. Shane Eugene O'Brien, Gold Humanism Society. Thank you. Dr. Katia Elizer, Gold Humanism Society, Medical Society of the State of New York Community Service Award. Dr. Teresa Abimbola Ogundipwe. Dr. Helen O. Dr. Cindy Denise Ojevwe. Dr. Amar Parikh. Dr. Nicholas V. Parmer. Dr. Jamin Kumar Patel. Dr. Ronak B. Patel. Dr. Shivik Patel, Binghamton Campus Department of Surgery Award and Student Research Day Award. Dr. Michael Poplowski. Dr. Jessica Ellis Poplowski. So nice. Congrats. It's really wonderful. Dr. Elizabeth Rose Porcilio, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society, Amwa Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement, Binghamton Campus Department of Internal Medicine Award, Merck Manual Award. Dr. Julia Karen Primo. Dr. Anthony Joseph Puthamana, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. John M. Pune, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society, Alpha Omega Alpha Gamma Chapter Robert Ike Award, and Merck Manual Award. Dr. Travis Evan Quinn, Bruce Steering Award. Dr. David Anthony Quincy, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Harry P. Ramcharan. Dr. Julia A. Reeser. Dr. Ari David Rennert, Binghamton Campus Department of Family Medicine Award. Dr. Kyle Angelicola Richardson, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Rhea Jan Rubin, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. Nicholas Melvin Ranieri, Rural Medical Education Program, Dean of Student Affairs Award. Dr. Lisa Marie Ryder, Amwa Glasgow Rubin Citation for Academic Achievement. Thank you. Dr. Mehreen Sadiq. Thank you. Dr. Noor El Huda Sarawi. Dr. Rachel Rose Santoro, Rural Medical Education Program. Dr. Jennifer Marie Sasson. Dr. Ryan M. Sheeto. Dr. Catherine R. Schnapp. Dr. Haley Koshik Shah, Gold Humanism Society Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award. Thank you. Dr. William Shea. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Alan Shum. Dr. Brandon A. Simonetta. Dr. Camille Skotnicki. Dr. Garrett E. Smith, Gold Humanism Society, Outstanding Medical Student in Urology.
It's a hard one. It's really tough. Try to do your best.
Dr. Michael D. Smith. Dr. Brielle Nicole Stanton, Gold Humanism Society, Binghamton Campus Department of Pediatrics Award, Howard L. Weinberger MD Award in Pediatrics, Medical Alumni Student Citizen Award, the Bruce Deering Writing Award. Dr. Robert Nicholas Stuver, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Association of Pathology Chairs Honor Society. Dr. Karen Y. Teo. Dr. Justin Tu. Dr. Tyler Charles Underreiner. Dr. Yulia Vabischevich, Rural Medicine Education Program, Gold Humanism Society.
Macy Lee Van Arnhem.
Thank you. Dr. Macy Lee Van Arnhem, Rural Medical Education Program.
Just Daniel's
Dr. Daniel C. Wong. Dr. Olivia Lee Yost, Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society, Gold Humanism Society. Dr. John Yu. The recipients of the 2 doctoral degrees, Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy, will be presented by Dr. Mark Schmidt, Dean of the College of Graduate Studies, and Dr. Montosh Devan, Interim Dean of the College of Medicine.
Dr. Larakarina, Dr. Dewan, and I have the honor to present these graduates who participated in Upstate's MD PhD program, which over an approximately 7 to 8 year period allows students to complete the requirements for both the College of Medicine for the Doctor of Medicine degree and the College of Graduate Studies for the Doctor of Philosophy degree. These students graduate as physician scientists who, by combining the practice of medicine in the clinics with biomedical research in the laboratory, are uniquely trained and focused to bring the power of modern science to our understanding and treatment of human disease.
Will the candidates receiving both doctoral degrees, Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy, please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, upon completion of all requirements, I confer upon you the degrees Doctor of Medicine and Doctor of Philosophy with all the rights, privileges, and obligations. Please come forward to be recognized.
Dr. Darren G. Dolezal, MD, PhD, John Bernard Henry, MD, Endowed Scholarship. Dr. Matthew Nelson Gumbleton, MD, PhD. Dr. Ryan Stephen Odell, MD, PhD.
So I want to hear the loudest round of applause today for all of these graduates. And the students know me well enough that I can say, oh yeah, 24 karat, right? Now, the physician's oath in the tradition of Hippocrates and Elizabeth Blackwell, which is printed in your program, will be administered to the medical graduates by Dr. Amit Damoon. Dr. Damoon has been selected for this honor by the graduating class. Will the medical graduates of the College of Medicine please rise?
The Hippocratic Oath is on page 53 for those. And if could all medical graduates in the College of Medicine please recite the oath with me. I enthusiastically commit my life to serving patients. I will practice my profession with integrity, dignity, and humility. The welfare of my patients will be my first consideration, and I will advocate for them. May I never see in the patient anything but a fellow human in need. I will treat all patients with compassion, no matter how much they differ from me. I will preserve my patients' confidentiality and respect my patients' choices. I will work together with my colleagues in service of our patients. I will acknowledge my limits, maintain my skills, and seek help when needed. I will give to my teachers the respect and gratitude that is their due, be a role model for students, and share my knowledge with patients and colleagues. I make these promises solemnly, freely, and upon my honor. May I keep this oath, and in so doing, experience the joy of healing those who seek my help. Congratulations.
Amanda Ghani has been selected by the Master's Public Health class of 2017 as their student speaker. Will Ms. Ghani please come forward?
Good afternoon, faculty and administration, distinguished alumni, parents, friends and families, and of course, fellow graduates. It is truly an honor to be standing before you on behalf of the Masters in Public Health graduating class. If someone had told me just a few years ago when I was living and working in Manhattan that I would be standing here today giving a speech at Upstate Medical University's commencement, I wouldn't have believed them. 2 years later, I proudly call Syracuse and Upstate my home. For many reasons, but first and foremost, we have Wegmans. The first time my parents came to Syracuse was, of course, to visit me. And before even taking them to see beautiful Green Lakes, I took them to Wegmans. My dad, the cook and food shopper in the family, naturally loved it. The second time my parents came to Syracuse was to visit Wegmans. I just happened to be here. This was a very special year for Upstate. We finally had a snow day. 2, actually. Yes, it does snow in Syracuse, and yes, we can celebrate it. I'm really glad I paid attention to my mom when she taught me how to walk down the stairs in heels. I applied the same logic when walking down the hill this winter, and I didn't fall once. Jokes and rare weather excitement aside, I'm extremely happy with my decision to become part of the Upstate Medical community and to obtain a master's in public health. I'm also super excited to answer a question that's probably on many of your minds right now. What exactly is public health? To do so, I will share a parable by Irving Zola, a medical sociologist, because I think it accurately depicts a major goal of public health. It goes something like this. There I am, standing by the shore of a swiftly flowing river, and I hear the cry of a drowning man. So I jump into the river, reach him, pull him to shore, and apply artificial respiration. Just when he begins to breathe, there is another cry for help. So I jump into the river, pull him to shore, apply artificial respiration, and then just as he begins to breathe, another cry for help. So back in the river again, reaching, pulling, applying, breathing, and then another call. Again and again, without end goes the sequence. You know, I'm so busy jumping in, pulling them to shore, helping them to breathe, that I have no time to see who is upstream, pushing them all in. You see, physicians are deployed to dive in and rescue people, or haul them to the bank of the stream and revive them. But perhaps focus upstream is needed as well, to see what's causing everyone to end up in the water in the first place, and do something about it. This is exactly what my fellow MPH graduates and I hope to do. This story emphasizes that public health calls for preventative actions, as well as actions focused on social determinants of health, socioeconomic status, education, the physical environment, employment, and social support networks that can cause many health problems. Because while understanding disease processes certainly revolutionizes treatment, understanding the exterior influences of a patient's life also improves health outcomes. The field of public health is enormous, inclusive, and encompassing. Hence, it confronts many facets of healthcare beyond prevention, such as barriers to care, safety, and healthy living, all which aim to improve and sustain health and quality of life. As MPH graduates, we understand that healthcare disparities exist, and we will strive to reduce them by enhancing the distribution of care. This is achieved not by insurance coverage alone, but also by increasing the affordability and access to care. We also understand that by improving clinicians' competence or humility of a patient's cultures and customs enables these practitioners to be better and more empathetic caretakers. We value research and interventions that combat infectious diseases here at home and globally. We also value and emphasize workplace safety, clean water, fresh air, and we promote, among other things, healthy behaviors such as exercise and nutrition. Despite having diverse backgrounds, interests, and endless career possibilities, my fellow MPH graduates and I now share a knowledge base and perspective that will allow us to see the bigger healthcare picture, to improve the health and well-being of our patients, families, and communities. As health educators, researchers, nutritionists, community planners, physicians, refugee health workers, epidemiologists, policymakers, and much more. I can personally attest to the great value of the MPH perspective I've gained here at Upstate. My belief and hope is that it will positively influence the type of physician I aspire to become and the care I'll provide to my future patients and community. So, to my MPH classmates, congratulations on your great accomplishment. Please don't forget the hard work that culminate this achievement. All of those grueling hours fighting with SPSS, or the numerous cuts of that 5-minute video we had to do for program planning. How about those quality improvement projects and administration? Or all the numerous presentations and PowerPoint slides we had to prepare? We worked hard for this moment, and we deserve to celebrate it. To the MD graduates, congratulations on your great accomplishment as well. Based on your 2017 matching video, you are a very talented group. Seriously, anyone who hasn't seen this video needs to, it's awesome. As the parable suggested, as MDs and public health professionals, let's make a promise to work together as a cohesive unit, helping the people of our communities live healthier and safer lives. We can all utilize the skills Upstate Medical University has taught us, including leadership, initiative, critical thinking, adaptability, and clinical intervention, to understand and reduce the risk of disease, disability, and death in individuals and populations. To all the graduates, I wish you the best of luck and happiness in the future. On behalf of the MPH class of 2017, I would like to thank the amazing and talented MPH faculty and staff who, through sharing their experiences, expertise, and insights, have taught us to be professional, thoughtful, smart, and hardworking public health advocates. The truly great experience you have given us has been nothing short of adventurous, enlightening, and fulfilling. We are all extremely grateful for your dedication to the field of public health, and we thank you for your service. Last but certainly not least, to our parents, families, and friends that have supported us, we thank you. We definitely would not be here without you. I'm especially grateful to my parents. Their unconditional love and support and profound sacrifices are what made this moment even possible for me. So Mom and Dad, thank you. You continue to inspire and awe me striving to improve yourselves and your health every day. And a big thank you to the rest of my family and friends that are here today to celebrate with me. I'd like to close with a quote from Mother Teresa, which my friend and fellow MPH graduate Melissa Vitale used during her capstone presentation. Mother Teresa said, "I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples." Graduates, faculty and administrators, parents, friends and families, any graduation crashers out there. Although changing the world on our own is pretty impossible, perhaps as a group, through little actions every day, we can make this world a better place. Thank you and God bless.
Ramzi El Hassan has been selected by the Doctor of Medicine class of 2017 as their student speaker. Will Dr. El Hassan please come forward?
I was going to be nervous, but they already hooded me, so I don't think it really matters anymore. So fellow doctors of the class of 2017, we did it. We earned the right to wear these funny jumpsuits, put these fun little hats on, and proclaim once and for all, we're certified drug dealers. There is no way to properly thank all of the people who helped us get to this point. Faculty, staff, administration, family, friends, significant others, insignificant others, pets, friends as pets. The list can go on and on. I also want to thank the Syracuse weather for keeping us in the library a little longer, and for Uber to wait until after we graduate to come to upstate New York. That was really helpful. I'd like to also thank the classes that came before us for lighting the way and helping us believe we can actually do this, and the classes coming after us for showing us just how far we've come in such a short amount of time. I hope that we have made it abundantly clear to everyone that we are eternally thankful for everything that you've done to get us to this point. As they say, it takes a village, and for me, it took a village and a home court advantage. And if families are wondering who at Upstate is really watching us while we're here and making sure we make it through this process, it would really be a trick question, because it is literally every single person here. But without a doubt, the spirit animal and the leader of that effort is Dean Julie White. Dean White. Dean White, thank you for guiding us through this craziness and amazingness that is the giant family that is Upstate. Our class did experience one true tragedy, the passing of our classmate Josh Sheen. He was a smart and lighthearted person. He enjoyed life to its fullest. He is missed by those who knew him and missed by those patients who never got a chance to have him as a doctor. He is a reminder that life's randomness is scary, and to live every moment and every part of life to its fullest. Please join me in a moment of silence for Josh. Thank you. Okay, now this is my opportunity to try to sum up the amazing journey that these 4 years have been. 1,383 days ago, we took an oath for the first time and received stylish short white coats, and we were overflowing with hopes and dreams and love, and in such a state of wonderment that we even forgot to repeat the oath after Dr. Duggan had started it for us. The tides turned very quickly after that moment. We were immediately swept away into an ocean of information, just keeping our heads above the surface. We all had moments in the first 2 years where we ran smack into the questions, am I really cut out for this? What did I claw and scratch and sneak my way into? I remember looking at all of my classmates here today and thinking, if these geniuses are struggling, I don't stand a chance. And between the 8-week blur that was anatomy and the compliment cascade rap that we tried desperately to get stuck in our head instead of Iggy Azalea's Fancy, things got pretty bleak at times. And that was just the first year. In the second year, we had to take the bottomless pit of information and try to integrate it. And that brought us daily doses of Dr. Shanley and his guest stars and drugs. Lots and lots of drugs. We went through a lot that year. We learned that some of our classmates, for sure, definitely, without a doubt, had sarcoid. We had others who definitely had IgA deficiency. And even one or two that had Marfan's disease. I mean, it's really a crazy year for us. Then, to top it all off, we had 2 years and 2 crazy months of drinking information out of a fire hose, and we hoped it would come pouring out of somewhere in the right order so that a national board could assign us a number to tell us just how medically smart we are. And through all of that pressure and stress and all-around craziness, the best way to describe how my class grew into the tight-knit family that we are today can be summed up by a quote by a great emperor from the movie Mulan. He said, "The flower that blooms in adversity is the most rare and beautiful of all." Disney et al., 1998. The only thing that outpaced our learning was the growth of our friendships. We did some pretty weird and special things as a class. I mean, like Amanda had said, did you see the match day video? There are mothers and fathers in that video. And some serious musical talent. Our class even has about 20 or so new young recording artists, including myself. That's thanks to Tyler Underreiner's Recorder Club, which featured our one and only recorder performance of Celine Dion's My Heart Will Go On, to none other than Karen and Dr. Shanley. This kind of bizarre friendship is what carried us through the third year. To say it in short, we learned to do everything faster that year. We walked faster, we talked faster, we established rapport faster, we even learned to sleep faster. And if you're wondering, how did we do it? Our secret had a lot to do with the first rule of radiology, which was taught to us by Dr. Cohen. Coffee. Then there's the best year, fourth year. I'm pretty sure at this point we have forgotten almost everything we were taught. Sorry. We definitely don't know how to do anything fast anymore. And now we are smiling and proud and anxious and nervous and excited. Some of us have a nice tan going. We just took an oath. It sounds kind of similar to the start of it all. But this time, it's closing time. And as Semisonic so wisely sang it, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Today is another one of those rare moments when we find ourselves sharing the company of so many people who know us too well and love us as much as humanly possible. I hope we each have many, many more of these moments, and I hope we continue to find love and happiness in all of our future pursuits. I want to thank my class specifically for giving me this chance to be up here, and thank everyone for being here, and just enjoy today, enjoy this really amazing, well-deserved celebrations. Thank you.
So today, at the State University of New York, Upstate Medical University, we'll award an honorary degree to Dr. Michael Barrett. I'm going to go off script a little bit because he truly embodies what we saw in writing, and that's a pretty rare treat. He's humble, he's kind, he's thoughtful, he is really, with a few conversations, extremely brilliant, and he's been in space. So what more can you ask for? It's really wonderful. So Mr. Thomas Taylor, chair of the Upstate Medical University College Council, will read the citation, and Dr. Nanavati, Chief Marshal, will assist me with the hooding.
Michael Reed Barrett, MD, MS. You have achieved eminence as a distinguished physician and astronaut. Your work at the interface of medicine and space physiology resonates with the mission, values, and strategic goals of Upstate Medical University. Your translational research advances our understanding of fundamental human physiology, adaptation to changing environments, and the implications of finding from space medicine on human health and well-being and illness. The principles learned in this sphere have the potential to impact countless lives for generations to come. As an astronaut, you have served in both short-term and long-term space flights. In your work evaluating the effects of long-term space flight, you have contributed to systems to prevent, manage, and mitigate the physiological stresses of human space travel. As an educator, your career has included prestigious academic service for the Aerospace Medicine Residency at NASA, ISC, and Wright State University Aerospace, along with educator positions at the University of Texas Medical Branch and the U.S. Air Force School of Aerospace Medicine. You have also shared your expertise as an invited lecturer around the world. You have authored various publications, edited textbooks, and written several book chapters. Your illustrious career serves as an inspirational role model for our students across Upstate's 4 colleges and many programs. You have been honored with numerous awards for your professional accomplishments and contributions in the disciplines of medicine, space medicine, and space physiology. For your leadership in all these fields, the State University of New York is pleased to confer upon you the honorary degree of Doctor of Science, given this 21st day of May, 2017. Dr. LaRoccarina, I have the honor to present Dr. Mike Barrett, a candidate for the degree of science, honoris causa.
We're going to hood you, then I'm going to say it, okay? So by virtue of the authority vested in me by the trustees of the State University of New York, the faculty of the State University of New York concurring, I confer upon you the degree Doctor of Science, honoris causa, and invest you with the rights and privileges pertaining thereunto. In token thereof, I hand you this diploma and direct that you be vested with the hood appropriate to your degree.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Really, it couldn't be a pleasure. Really wonderful. We will now hear some remarks from Dr. Barrett.
Well, thank you all for coming. I mean, this is an incredible honor. You know, I can tell you, I've flown in space. I've really done all those things, but raising kids is a lot harder. I've raised 5. And so I want to salute the parents here tonight. What you have done is reflected here. And as much as I love getting this degree, and it's an incredible honor, this is really about them. Every hooding, every hug, every little antic we've seen here tonight has a great story to it. The baby was a particularly great prop, by the way. I've never seen that before. But it's really great to share this amazing day with you at the State University of New York. It's a major milestone in your careers, your professional lives. And I was actually completing medical school in 1985. I kind of know where you've been. And Monzi reminded me that actually we had a band in our medical school, the Arrhythmias, we were called, and very, very well named. The camaraderie that you describe, I think, is something I've shared as well. I want to shout out to the Masters of Public Health as well. My younger brother did that and got his degree about the same time I have. He spent 30 years overseas bringing public health to the world. Also to the more pugilistic souls among you, the MD, MPHs, the MD, PhDs, especially to you, I'm sorry, because you're going to hear me twice. But it's just amazing what you've done. Congratulations to you all. And I hope you're all duly proud and satisfied with where you are now, and especially surrounded by the loved ones that have made this possible, your parents, your siblings, your children, grandparents, everyone that really understands how much you've sacrificed to get here. You guys represent a lot of hard work, a lot of determination, a lot of late nights, a lot of tuition money, everything that goes into it, I'm sure you know. But I also know that there's a very deep-seated understanding in this crowd that the real learning is only beginning. A lot of you have matched. I remember match day very well. A lot of you will be starting residencies and other advanced training programs. So you are just now taking your deep cleansing breaths before leaping into the next level. Now, I want to tell you that even though I graduated quite a while ago, I interact with students and residents on a very regular basis. We actually have a medical student and resident rotation at Johnson Space Center. The institutions where I teach, there are a lot of residents there. My wife is professor of pediatrics at the University of Texas, Houston, and she keeps bringing them home, medical students and residents, to feed and to dust off a little bit. So I know where you are. I know where you're going. Good luck, but you're going to be great. I want you to forget all that for a moment, and let's talk some fundamentals. When you think about what's needed for the human to be healthy and productive and creative, what comes to mind? Maslow's well-known hierarchy of needs defines some of these top-level requirements as self-esteem, respect, friendship, and intimacy. And moving more towards the basics, you have security, safety, and general health. Moving further down towards the base of the pyramid, we find such niceties as breathing, food, water, shelter, sleep. But let's take a further step back, and now we're off of Maslow's charts. What about even more basic elements, like a pressurized atmosphere to hold your body together? Like gravity to hold you down, or shielding from this ubiquitous but lethal radiation that just floods open space. In short, a habitable planet, if you will, or perhaps an artificial means to provide all of these. So these are the most basic elements that Maslow just simply assumed or took for granted. But our world and our civilization are beginning to change. We're thinking expansion, we're thinking outward. And this is a way that forces us to look at those most fundamental aspects of life in ways that we never did before. So I want to tell you about a new and emerging field of medicine, briefly, in which providing for the health and well-being regularly intersects these most basic of physical forces and human requirements. Now, a top-level overview of my world is a bit self-serving. I'm admitting that unabashedly, but I hope you will see it as opportunistic and somewhat invitational. One of my childhood heroes, and now I'm asking you, not you, was Leonard H. McCoy. Who among you know who Leonard H. McCoy was? Any hands? Wow. A couple? Very timid souls. Dr. Leonard H. Bones McCoy. Who knows who he was? Thank you. Dr. McCoy was the ship surgeon on the Starship Enterprise in Gene Roddenberry's series Star Trek, and for you real hardcore Trekkies, he wrote a book called Comparative Alien Anatomy and Physiology. But whenever Dr. McCoy had to treat someone in the series and in the movies, the first thing he had to do was think, okay, what species is he or she? Something you won't find in your sign-in paperwork at the general ER, all right? It's not on there. But I thought that was pretty amazing. So let's head to space in earnest. Now, I apologize to the parents because I'm going to get down in your weeds a little bit, but bear with me, it won't be for too long. Biology, human physiology, human performance in space is dominated by weightlessness. And let me paint a picture of that human system. First of all, you ride a rocket into space. I'm skipping the years of training that goes with that. You hop on the rocket, you light the engines, and about 9 minutes of acceleration, shake, rattle, and roll. If all goes well, you're established in low Earth orbit with a ground speed of about 17,500 miles an hour. You circle the globe every 90 minutes. You're at an altitude of roughly 250 miles. Now, immediately on arrival into weightlessness or microgravity, and it is abrupt. The engines stop very abruptly. There's nothing gradual. You go from 3 Gs, weighing 3 times your body weight, to nothing like that. A constellation of highly adaptive physiologic changes ensues. Your body changes shape. The anthropometry changes are the first things that happen. You get a little taller. Your waist shrinks. Your abdomen, your abdominal girth goes down. Your chest actually gets a little bit bigger. Sounds great, right? But you pay for it, actually. Sounds like there's nothing not to like, but there is. Those anthropometric changes drive physiologic changes that we didn't realize until just recently. Other things that happen is the fluid from your lower extremity shifts up to your chest, up to your thorax, and you feel immediately like you're hanging from the monkey bars. It's about 1.5 liters of fluid, sometimes 2 liters, that just shifts upwards. Your cardiac chamber volume increases 30% or so. Your cardiac output increases 30%. Your blood pressure stays the same because your vascular compliance actually increases in turn. We never thought that would happen. We still don't understand exactly why we're able to do this. There's a total uncoupling of that cardiorenal response that says, hey, I'm overperfused, I need to diurese some of this out. Well, your kidney is now disconnected from that reflex immediately, instantly upon arrival into weightlessness. Your neurosensory system is 100% challenged, because everything you know about defining your position sense, your mass handling sense, your locomotor sense is now wrong. My visual system tells me up is this way and down is this way, but up there I could tilt this way and now up is there. And I will not feel any pressure through my feet to tell me down is that way. And that neurovestibular system that you learned about on your neurological rotation, well, there's nothing pulling on those otoconia whatsoever, right? So if I go like this, usually they're dragged downward, and it tells me that down is that way. The only way I can get that sensation in space is to move quickly backwards, right? There's my little demo. So when I do that, my body says, hey, you must be tilting your head down, but my eyes tell me totally otherwise. And you get sensory conflicts, which leads to space motion sickness, running into things, all sorts of things that are actually quite amusing when you see somebody adapting to spaceflight in the first few days. Now, over a period of days, your plasma volume decreases by about 15%. Your red blood cell mass decreases by about 15%. And I'm trying not to get too much into a lecture on spaceflight physiology, but just understand that every system changes. There's changes in immune regulation, fluid regulation, endocrine system. So, okay, back to the surface. Consider that over time, these changes have a purpose. They're very deterministic. You arrive at a new homeostasis, a new set point for each of these systems, a new physiology, if you will, that adapts you very well to spaceflight. We become three-dimensional creatures with all these changes that happen to us, and we function quite well, thank you. And it's really quite amazing. We become Dr. McCoy's extraterrestrials. So everything I learned, I can now transfer, and I have to think. And I've always been the onboard crew medical officer. If somebody has a medical finding or needs treatment, I have to think, okay, where are they in their stage of adaptation? Because they are not a normal human being. They don't look and work like the rest of us. So it's really cool. And some of these processes have been expected. Some of them have been totally surprising and really non-intuitive. But when you remove that dominant force of gravity, you find things that are otherwise totally masked by the normal processes that we learn about on the ground, that I learned about, that you have learned about. And because of that, we can inform the knowledge of basic physiology, basic fundamental biology as well, while we develop our own functional understanding that helps us operate in this environment. And we continue to discover new things, really big things, that have been right under our noses in human spaceflight for the 5 decades we've been flying. And as we find out, one of our big discoveries now concerns the dynamics of cerebral spinal fluid, and we're finding out that we didn't know nearly as much about the production, circulation, utilization of cerebral spinal fluid on the ground that we thought we did. We're finding, because of the removal of gravity, we have a window into these dynamics that we otherwise didn't have. And we're really on the verge of increasing our understanding there that will transfer directly to the clinical world. And so this is largely thanks to the modern tools we have for imagery, physiologic investigation. But what all this tells you is that the human is capable of adapting and operating in ways that we never thought possible before, right? And that spaceflight is not the only frontier. There are amazing other frontiers out there as well. So when you're out there in training and you're out there in practice, consider what would happen if you turned off the gravity in the situation you're in, whether you're looking at a well-understood disease process or a physiologic response you don't quite understand. And think how that might change the presentation of the treatment. I'm planting this seed because some of you may think of something that we haven't, and I've planted, and that has happened before. So again, I shamelessly do that. You'll remember that some crazy astronaut gave an address at your graduation, and you'll think, aha, I wonder if, and then please call me. Now, back a little bit more to the real world. I'll touch on some of the commonalities between spaceflight and the medical world you're entering. First of all, lifelong learning. You can never know enough. When we get selected as astronauts, we get immediately congratulated by all sorts of people telling us how smart we are, how awesome we are, and that all dies on the first day of training. I remember that feeling on the first day of internship as well. It's okay, but both your instructors and the real world are going to remind you of how little you really know and how difficult it is to translate all that book learning, even ward learning, into the real world. Your newly minted pedigree has tremendous value, but that's just to get you to this stage to really start learning. Pretty much every day I did something that made me feel like an idiot, and I paid the idiot tax for it, as we say. I learned something I didn't know. Now, we also learn early on that astronauts that think they have it all down are dangerous, and the same is true of physicians on the ward. Now, that's not our culture in the astronaut office. I hope that's not your culture as well. If you really think you're on top of your field, you should feel very uncomfortable because you're probably missing something. But another thing I will tell you is that most of us are happiest learning new things in the astronaut office, and the best doctors I know are exactly the same way. Learning something new is amazing. It helps you, it keeps your mind sharp, and it's better for your patients in the long run. Hard work trumps genius. Now, a lot of people think that rocket scientists are really amazing and they really rock. Well, we have very few geniuses at NASA. Even in the astronaut office, we have one or two, and that's about right. What we do have is very motivated, very passionate, very creative souls who just put their brute force efforts in to make something happen. And you should never feel like you're not smart enough or not genius enough to figure something out. It's all about work. It's all about that brute force effort that you make and bring your patient, your project, your research, everything into readiness. Medicine is very much like that. Teach and mentor. In turn, with your learning, there's a responsibility to pass on what you know. Now, many of these professions that you will enter, most of you clinical, but some of you research as well, there are critical skills that are very well documented that you have to show proficiency at. But there's a lot that's not documented. It's going to be in your head, in your hands, in your eyes, in the skill set that you develop. And you really need to pass that on physically. You can't write it down and give it to someone. You need to show it. You need to guide people. And what I remember very well is that when you take on a medical student, they should actually cost you more time than they save you. Remember that. They're not your workforce. They are your responsibility to teach every little fact that you can. The investment is very long term. It's hard to realize when it's late at night, but the returns are very high. A few words on life balance. Again, my wife is a physician. We have 5 children. It's like running a small business on the side that never turns a profit, by the way. I think you all understand that. We were lectured often early on to find that place of harmony where our home lives and our career are in perfect balance. And that never worked for me. It never really worked for any of my friends or anyone I know who's fairly passionate about their professions. And I think this applies whether you're supporting human spaceflight or providing the hands to support the health of the nation and the world. If you find yourself slightly torn between your home life and your professional life, it's probably where you ought to be. It's okay. There's an example that you set in this position to your family and friends when you really are passionate about something good and something right. That's a good thing. It's a healthy example that teaches a powerful lesson to your children and those who live around you. And likewise, the good workplace recognizes the importance of family in the lives of its steady workers, and that's really important to it. I think both medicine and spaceflight are becoming increasingly high-tech team sports, and your generation is certainly more versed and comfortable with this technology than mine. But remember that your patients aren't impressed with your technology necessarily. They're not going to remember how amazing your monitor, dialysis machine, drug delivery system, laser, anything, fill in the blank here, how good your EMR is. They're not going to remember that. They're not going to care. What they're going to remember is every interaction they have with you, the physician, and you are that human interface. So use those tools, translate those into the health of the patient. And I'm going to conclude by talking about something that no one really discussed with us at your stage, and I think we're a little bit better about that. But a few words about mistakes. You're going to make some. You're going to make quite a few. We as humans are very adaptable, very creative, imaginative creatures, and all of those great things make us fallible as well. But with the appropriate checks and balances, along with the will to improve, this actually works much more for us than against us. And there's a huge area of overlap between human spaceflight and medicine. I have to say it's one of the things that NASA actually does right. We debrief everything, whether it's a training event, a real event, a training flight, a space flight. For you, a simulated code, a real code, how did the week go on the wards, debrief everything. My friend Colonel Rick Sturkow, very gruff guy, not a warm, fuzzy guy. He would not have been given hugs up here. Very competent shuttle commander, but he did something that left a very strong impression on me after his first mission as commander. He came down for the debrief, and he said, we are going to share every mistake that we made during this flight. We're going to lay it out on the table, but I will not allow anyone to say anything bad about my crew because I owe them my life, we owe them the success of this mission. And I really took this to heart. I logged every mistake I made during all of my days in space, which is about 212 days. Now, the practice is kind of counter to our tendencies of self-preservation, of body and ego, but there's two main aspects that make this all palatable. Number one, it does have to be the cultural norm, and you may have to help create that norm, but bringing your mistakes to bear has got to be comfortable. And then the other thing is you have to defend your team, like Colonel Sturkow did. You're doing it for the right reason, you're doing it for betterment, for improvement, and you have to purposely build this practice and this mentality, whether in space or the clinic, the hospital wards, even out in rural practice. Don't consider it persecutory. Consider it a step towards improvement when it really matters, and in medicine, it always matters. But what really matters most is that you acted, you did your best with good conscience and compassion, and there's really no clearer statement of your desire to improve and to perfect than to address every error, every mistake openly and to resolution. So with that, thank you so much for the opportunity to pass on some observations and advice that I've learned over the years, most of them the hard way. But I also want you to know that I really envy and admire you right now. I recently had my 30-year medical school reunion, and darn it, we actually look pretty good. But more importantly, we really like each other. We still get along, we still keep up. These are some of the best friends that I've got in my life, and I kind of sense that you guys have the same feeling. Keep close to one another for these years. I wish you the best of luck and fortitude as you complete your training and help to care for the nation and the world. Thank you.
Dr. Baird, I feel lighter already. And does that make me more enlightened, I think, maybe? Thank you very much. So next, I have the privilege and pleasure to introduce Dr. Richard Cantor, President of the Medical Alumni Association.
I'll be brief because it's, is it still Sunday? I don't know. First of all, a year ago, I was you. I had to sit there. My daughter graduated. And I feel compelled to do this. The alumni people will be calling you in 28 minutes for money, but you don't have any. And we owe you. But I want you to do me one favor. One first act of kindness in medicine. I want you to stand up. I mean it, stand up. You've been sitting too long anyway. And I want you to give a round of applause to those people. Thank you. Many of us on the admissions committee have seen their files, and know the amount of effort, time, sociologic development, great stories went into that. And because of you, look what you've done. You're paying it forward. We as alumni like to pay it backwards and forward. We try to give, we're sort of like one of those mid-level hotels where, you know, to strive to get business, we give little treats to the med students when they're with us. We give them sort of white coats, and we give them books, free breakfast once in a while, maybe an after dinner mint, free internet, but not the fast speed. But we're here for you. We always were, we always will be. If you go to the Alumni Association meetings, there's a lot of true believers in the room, people who really have a sense of history and pay it backwards and forwards. So all I can say to you is, this is a big deal today. It's a beginning and end. You can put all the platitudes you want on it. I was at a party about 2 weeks ago, and somebody had a poster in their house, a signed poster, and it pretty much summarized the message of today. It's a simple white poster, linen, with the words, work hard and be nice to people. Best of luck. Thank you.
Dr. Cantor will present the Medical Alumni Awards. He will be assisted by Dr. Julie Rawls-White, Dean of Student Affairs. The class of 2017 recognizes faculty and departments by nominating them to receive awards from the Medical Alumni Association. With this year's recipients of the Medical Alumni Awards, please come forward as I announce your name. The Philip B. Armstrong Award, Dr. Margaret Maimani. Departmental Teaching Award for Basic Sciences, Neuroscience and Physiology. This award will be accepted by Dr. Mary Lou Villano, Professor in the Neuroscience and Physiology Department. Syracuse Campus Clinical Faculty Teaching Award, Dr. Amit Damoon. The Syracuse Campus Clinical Department Teaching Award, Internal Medicine. This award will be accepted by Dr. Sri Narsapur, Chair of the Internal Medicine Department. The Binghamton Campus Clinical Faculty Teaching Award, Dr. Lazarus Gehring. You can actually stay up there if you like. The Binghamton Campus Clinical Department Teaching Award, Family Medicine. This award will be accepted by Dr. Lazarus Gehring. We will now begin the commissioning ceremony for the Health Professions Scholarship Program students. Representing the U.S. military is U.S. Army Captain Aaron P. Venturelli. Will the students who are being commissioned please come forward? Air Force Second Lieutenant Nathan Jones. Army Second Lieutenant Mikhail Poplawski. Navy Ensign Jeffrey Amos. and Navy Ensign Charles Michal.
Thank you. No one here today decided to become a physician because it was self-serving. We all have chosen different paths to serve others with our profession. Some of you will choose to practice in underserved areas, working with the country's most vulnerable people, while others may choose to serve in metropolitan communities or to volunteer for worldwide humanitarian missions. As physicians, you will strive to make a difference each and every day. Service is coded into your DNA, and you have a passion for helping others and ensuring that others benefit from your skills that you have ascertained through your long, rigorous academic program. For that, all of you deserve a round of applause. Today, we want to recognize 4 of your peers who have chosen to serve their community as physicians within the U.S. military. These individuals will be tasked with providing care to over 5 million beneficiaries in the United States and around the world. In foreign lands, they will represent their country as humanitarians, providing care to both soldiers and the indigenous population. They will make a difference every day to those who serve, have served their country, their family members, and countless others. Their unique skill set and professional training will ensure that more of our soldiers, sailors, Marines, and airmen make it home safely to their families. I want to congratulate all of you on a job well done, and specifically want to thank the 4 who have chosen to serve their country. Welcome to the largest medical department in the world. In a moment, I will administer the oath of office for the United States military. With this oath, you are also being awarded the rank of O3, a captain in the Army and Air Force, and a lieutenant in the Navy. Because of your education, experience, and leadership training, the U.S. military sees fit to promote you to this advanced grade of leadership. This is 2 grades above which you are now. Again, congratulations. Without further delay, please raise your right hand. I state your name. Having been appointed an officer in the United States military, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God.
What an exceptional day. This concludes the commissioning ceremony. Please help me in congratulating these exceptional students. I would now like to recognize any veterans, both on the stage graduating as well as members of the audience who may be veterans. Will all veterans please rise and be recognized? Thank you all for your service.
As we conclude our ceremony, I would like to remind you of the reception immediately following it at the Campus Activities Building. The recipients of awards may pick up their award at the awards table at the reception. A photographer is available to take photos of graduates with their families and faculty. As a reminder, the graduates will recess to the outside of the building, and you will need to meet them outside. Please remain seated until the faculty and graduates have exited, and please join me one last time in congratulating all of our graduates, honorary degree recipients, and awardees.
Thank you.